Welcome to the Product Leaders Edge podcast. Welcome back to the Product Leaders Edge podcast. I'm your host, KJ Green. I am a product leader, a entrepreneur, and a lover of all things technology. Also a lover of avocados. I always used to eat avocados, but I recently started eating them like every day. And wow, I didn't realize what I was missing. So I love avocados. Well, it is episode 3. Thank you all so much for tuning in to episode 2 with me and Kyle. And now this episode is with my great friend, Travell Williams. Travell is one of my favorite product managers. He literally started from the ground up. He started as an engineer from the ground up, and now is a product leader at HackRank, and he's actually moving to the Bay Area soon. Actually need to check in with him and see how his move went. But you'll hear a lot of just the breadth and depth of his career. You will hear a lot of themes of never giving up and always continuing to push past the limitations that we put on ourselves, that society may typically put on ourselves. Well, that society may put on us, not on ourselves, that society puts on us. And Travell overcame a lot of that to reach his goals and his aspirations in tech and product management. And I have a lot of respect for him because coming from an engineer seat to a product manager it is one of the more traditional paths, but it is one of the more informed paths to succeed as a product manager because you have a lot more respect and just articulation for being technically conversant with engineers. So I have a lot of respect for him. And he's one of the folks that inspired me to really take my journey a bit further as a product leader. Like right now, I am knee deep, as I've said, in the AWS system, building cloud and AI functionalities, but I'm also learning it from the hands-on side and also currently studying for the AWS Solutions Architecture certification. Because to really understand AI through compute, storage, and just infrastructure, you have to understand cloud and security. But AI runs on the cloud. AI runs on the cloud. AI would not be able to exist in this mass market without the cloud capabilities that power AI. And security keeps everything in check from the cloud and AI side. It's across both layers. So I am actively learning and building my skill set in that area. Well, really an expansion of my skill set in that area. But I decided to do that after, learning about the backgrounds of product leaders like Travell and just how he is able to just move through rooms very confidently because of his dual skill set as an engineer and a product manager. So I don't want to hold you guys too long. I want you to enjoy this episode. Please let me know your thoughts. If you're on YouTube, please comment in the comment section. If you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please send me an email. Also, leave a review if you feel led and enjoy the episode. Bye now. Before we dive in, I want to quickly plug something I'm super excited about. The Inside Solo Star newsletter. If you've ever wanted an inside look
behind the scenes of building product strategy, exploring the impact of AI and cloud, or just navigating tech leadership with intentionality, this is where it's all going down. Every edition is packed with real talk, no fluff, just actionable insights, frameworks that I'm testing in real time, and just lessons learned from the wins and the setbacks that I've experienced. Whether you're a founder, a product manager, or just curious about where tech is headed, there's something here for you. You can subscribe at insidesolostar.substack.com. Again, that's insidesolostar.substack.com. All right, now let's get to it. Leaders Edge podcast. My name is KJ Green, your host, and a lover of product, lover of all things technology. Today, I have a special guest, and I'm so thankful that he was able to join us today. And I really do believe that he is one of the moguls of product management. But before we jump into that, um, I just want to remind you that this podcast is your go-to monthly industry event where we explore the evolving world of tech, product leadership, AI, cloud, and strategies that help you to stay ahead in your career. So I am excited to welcome our special guest today, my friend and fellow product leader, Travell Williams. And today we'll be discussing just the intersection of product, leadership, life, how we navigate our careers and adapt to just the ever changing shifts that we've seen in the tech market. So, without further ado, Travell, if you'd be so kind to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. First, thanks for having me. I'm excited. I've been listening to this podcast and listening to just you and following your journey. And I love our friendship. I love the wisdom that gets shared between us. So it's actually an honor for me to be here. But for all the guests, my name is Travell Williams. I'm currently a senior product manager at HackRank. We're a developer skills platform market leader. We actually created the space. Prior to that, I was a product manager at a company known as Recurly. And prior to that, I was a software engineer at PayPal. I'm currently based in Houston, Texas, but I'm a Chicago boy at heart. And I'm so here for this conversation.
Oh, yeah, we love the Chicago mix.
Yeah,
And
we
we
do.
just love the mix of your career because you were an engineer that converted to product. So let's dive in to unpack your career. You've had such a rich path from coming from engineering to PM. What fueled that transition for you?
Man, I just wanted to be good at whatever job I was doing at the time. And I think that originally came from a fear where I was a liberal arts student. So I studied English lit and Black studies in university. And I was afraid of not having practical skills when I entered into the workforce. So I psyched myself out in so many ways where every time I got a job, I always either was in a certification program or learning something. So with technical support, for example, at PayPal or working for Braintree, we were helping developers integrate into our product via API. And I did not have a technical background at all. And logically, in order to be really good at the job, I told myself, okay, I needed to be a developer or as good as a developer to support them. And that led me down the track of taking a software engineering boot camp. And from there, I realized I really, really love being a software engineer. I love the discipline. I love building things that people use. I love diving into code, infrastructure, all the crazy things that comes with it. And it sort of just became a leap after that. I just kept on chasing excellence and chasing that. I had a new role that will open up for me or a new skill or opportunity.
Wow, wow. And when you say chasing excellence, I feel that energy from you. I remember
Thanks.
the first time we met, we were in a fireside chat for BIM Black Executive Meeting
Hmm.
we're part of, where we met actually. And you
Yeah,
said you
yeah.
have an intense personality. I'm like, I can see it. I can see it, but I feel like he really turns out when he's like in the zone. So I
Oh,
love that you brought
yeah.
that in.
That's what happens. It happens everywhere. I'm all, what do you call that? I'm like the teddy bear. I'm all cute and fuzzy and like, this warm person. But when I'm in the work and I'm building, that's when my game face comes on because that's my craft and that's what I love to do.
Yep. You get in execution mode.
That face comes on, I'm like, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. But you have a really unique lens because you
Mhm.
majored in Black studies in English, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So how was that lens influence how you lead a product?
So many ways. I can't even begin to like unpack the number of ways. But what I will say is in my Black Studies department in university, none of the professors agreed with each other about anything. And they all had different disciplines. And so a different perspective on Blackness as it was. And the English Lit department was pretty much the same. You know, of course, they had clusters of
Right.
disciplines within the discipline. But being in that environment, it forced me to understand all of these different lenses, all of these different perspectives, and gain some sort of perspective myself for how I wanted to perceive Black studies or what I was studying at the time. And that helps me as a product manager because you're getting tons of signals. You're getting signals from the market, you're getting signals from the go to market teams, you're getting signals from customer behavior. And you have to dive in and look at all of these signals and forge and decide, this is the path I'm going to pursue my hypothesis on. So I think that's the top number one way, but there are so many other ways. Social emotional intelligence. How do you have healthy conflict and negotiation and disagree with other people's ideas? How do you do deep research on a new topic? It tends to be the field that just kept on like adding value to my life and my career right now.
Wow. 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 That is really
Yeah.
profound. And I would
And
say,
go.
you know,
Tell me.
I'll let you
What the other thing too is the disciplines came with a level of rigor. And
mm,
what people tend to do is like crap on the humanities or
true.
humanities like students. But, there were so many people that I started my programs with that didn't complete the programs just because of how difficult the material was. It's open ended. So it wasn't like there was a finite answer that you needed to come to as you would in natural sciences or other disciplines. You really, really had to have an original thought in my programs. And the professors would suss that out. They would say, you just copied what this professor or this scholar had. So the level of intellectual rigor also really shaped the rigor that I bring to building products as well.
I agree. I agree because like you had to think at a higher level than most people do.
Hmm.
And people often think, well, if you're, STEM or bust, like if you're not, but you get value out of these other degrees too.
You
And I
do.
think we have to lean into where we're passionate about and just let everything else flow. Because if you're trying
Hmm.
to be that STEM major, be that whatever major, and not complete college, then what was the point? So I love that you stuck to what you knew.
True, true,
Um,
true. But I
but would
wanted to
you
be an engineering major.
see what made you not pursue that?
I couldn't afford it.
Right.
Uni was really, really expensive for me
Yeah.
to get through, and I was the first in my family to go down the path. And when it came down to it, I said, "Look, if I studied something like English and Black Studies, I knew the books would always be in the library. I didn't have to go and add that as an additional expense. I could look at my syllabus and get get those books and get whatever supplies I needed at a short kind of cost. So that was the real kind of reason. But once I got into the discipline, it was such a natural, organic fit for me. It made more sense than engineering, to be honest.
Yeah. And you ended up being an engineer anyway.
Right. So there you go.
So for you, what was the turning point when you said, you know what? I'm ready for product management.
Okay. I was a software engineer at PayPal, and we had started to do this developer relations kind of team. It was a team of engineers who
Right.
would essentially be the face of PayPal and communicating out our products to developer communities, writing documentation, even joining product teams and being additional sort of, I call them code monkeys who would deliver things across the finish line or testing new developer products. And doing that work, you get more of a voice in the shape of the product because you aren't necessarily in code all day. You are pretty much an advocate for the developer. So you're telling all these people, hey, this developer persona, that's one of our customers, that's one of our users. This is how we do right by them. These are the problems that they're encountering. And doing that, I had a couple of projects that I was able to lead myself and build from the ground up. And it just hit me. It was like, I kind of want to be the person in the room that shapes products for developers. I've always wanted to shape products in general for people, but I think that was the moment when I actually landed on this was the specific persona that I wanted to build for. And this was the way that I kind of wanted my product management journey to kind of emerge and unfold.
No, that's good. That's really,
Hmm.
really, 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 really good. Because product managers do shape the vision, the mission. But I think you came from the builder's perspective
Hmm.
where you knew that if you suggested something, that's an engineer's time, that's labor hours. Like you can't just be the strategy guy. Like you have to
Yep.
be the efficient product manager, the one that's respected. And I think
Hmm.
coming from that engineering background allowed you to have have more respect, but to be able to respect the engineers you were working with. Would you say
Oh,
that?
yeah. I mean, it also just helped me find who were the kind of people I wanted to build for. So it's not, it's definitely you get a respect for engineers, but it was a level of empathy that I had found where it was like, I love to build for people who are building things or who are, trying to forge some kind of path for themselves. So definitely it gave me a respect, but it gave me such a deep empathy. Even now, I have that same empathy for the engineering team that I'm working with. It's like, ooh, I feel what you're going through. I'm sorry to push this ticket, add this ticket to this sprint or propose this epic or propose we go this route or build this thing. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I know that you are, you're in pursuit of another venture currently.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it?
We could talk about it. I haven't been as public about it, so I'm nervous. But
By the time this is released, it'll be
time to
probably
talk about it.
fall 2025, October 2025. So you let me know. I
Yes,
have the
yes, I'm
question.
okay. Yeah, I'm okay with talking about it. I mean, listen, we live in the world of AI and technology. Anything can be edited out.
For
Yeah, let's
sure.
talk
For
about it.
sure. Um, so what inspired you to wanting to build your own company?
I think it's a path I've been on this whole time and didn't realize it. And I think it's less about building the company and for me more about solving this specific problem. That's also a part of this. I've been chasing problems that I want to solve and building solutions towards solving those problems and providing value to people. But I went through this surgery and it was the first surgery that I ever been through. And afterwards, I didn't realize there was all this stuff that I needed. And when I say stuff, specifically support from other people in a community, I needed to be someone to sign the discharge papers. I needed to be transported to my home. I needed someone there to help me integrate safely into my home. And when I didn't have those things, the journey to recovery became super difficult for me. I was so frustrated that I just was like, I'm already building stuff. I know how to build stuff. How can we solve this, Travell? And that's essentially what led to next step.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That is really,
Thanks.
really awesome. Would you say, in this new venture that your lens for product strategy has shifted in any way?
I don't think it has. I think I've always perceived product management as something that later stage companies should dabble in. Your founding team should always be made up of people who can build and lead the actual product as it is. If you have to outsource a developer team or all this, if you're spending a lot to build a product as a founding team, it might not be something that you should be taking on, but at later stages, product management makes sense. So in that way, where product strategy fits in hasn't changed. Who owns it at the time when you're founding a company, the team owns it. Later stage, it becomes more of a formal function for me, and I still hold that belief and function that way.
I like that. I like that. I
Hmm.
really, really, really like
Yeah.
that. So
Thank you.
let's dive in on your engineering advantage because
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something I really wanted to learn about. But what's
Mhm.
something that engineering taught you that shapes how you make product decisions?
How to deal with hard problems, how to take on hard problems. When you are an engineer, especially when I was, you deal with a lot of stuff that just doesn't work. You deal with a lot of complex logic, and it's just difficult. When in the beginning, I remember in my software engineering boot camp, at the end of the boot camp, you have to build a application from scratch, back end, front end, database, the whole you dig, and deploy it on cloud infrastructure. I sat in that boot camp in the last 2 weeks with the same error message, trying to get my application calling the database properly. That is what it's like to be an engineer. You are just in the weeds and dealing with these challenges, and trying to make this really, really difficult thing take off. And it's sort of the same as a product manager. You could easily write down, this is the direction I want us to go in. This is a product vision I've come up with. And it's a huge lift and strain on the organization. It may be towards this North Star goal that no one believes in. And you find yourself for a quarter or 2 quarters or a year just in the weeds, just trying to make it happen and stressing yourself out and stressing everybody out and following up. So being a software engineer, the number one thing it's taught me is just how to handle and navigate these difficult problems over time because it doesn't get easier.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Handling difficult problems,
Yeah.
reaching out, dealing with PMs who have these crazy North Stars. That's a lot. That's a lot, PM.
Right,
And
it
y'all beginning to
is.
do it.
It is. It is. And they do go through it because it's a bunch of stuff you just don't know how to do yet.
Right.
You deal with a lot of unknowns. Essentially, you know, because it's code driven, you have the capabilities and probably the tools to build whatever you need to. But on the outside, it's like, we're going to jump into this. I don't know what the end result is going to look like 100% of the time as an engineer. All I probably know is that I could keep on forging a path towards what we want. And that's a lot of unknown and a lot of difficulty for a person to stomach.
I agree. I agree. I
Mhm,
guess like with AI and just all of these
mhm.
changes, Google announced recently that majority of their code is being written by AI. So
Yeah.
what do you think? How do you see the role of the software engineer evolving with AI? Do you see it eliminating? Like what's your thought?
Yeah, I just see abundance
Okay.
when I think about AI and software engineering. Here's the thing. I believe in a world where everybody has the ability to build whatever they need.
Agree.
And I like to think of AI as leading us towards a world where people won't have to buy software. They could literally say, "Hey, I need a payment gateway or I need a quick notes app," and software and technology can become more personalized. So hopefully we're moving towards the future where everyone will be able to be a software engineer. And what that will do is probably make technology more ubiquitous in the world and even change what we're all able to bring. Because the problem right now with software engineering, if you ask me, is that it's a very isolated function or skill or discipline, whatever you want to call it. And what that does is it separates so many people who have ideas from the ability to execute and build those ideas out. So it's definitely changing what software engineering is now. The people who
Mhm.
can code are going to just become better at it and, um, probably make better software. But what I hope it does is up level all the idea people around us, to be able to deliver their beautiful, amazing ideas to the world much faster.
I agree. I agree. Like, because engineers have to still understand code and understand the infrastructures behind the code. Like, you can't just rely on AI in that
Hmm.
way because you'll be building sugar honey.
But
To your point, also, it does
mhm,
make the world a more, for lack of a more accessible place because in the
yeah.
2010s, people couldn't really do this and move this fast because it was
Hmm.
either very expensive for app development or if you didn't have the skill set or the engineer behind you, you couldn't really do it. So
Yeah. But
Yeah,
then
I
think of
think AI does help in that way, of
Mhm.
making things more accessible, but what do you think we need to do to make AI ethical and to keep guardrails around it in a healthy way?
Oh man, I don't think I have an answer to this. I'm not a specialist in AI. I of
Mm,
course keep up with I keep up with the literature and I keep up with the
mhm,
debates going on around AI ethics and the different Claude, for example, and Anthropic making a ethical, safe AI platform. I like some of their ideas. And there are also ideas I just disagree with that they
yeah,
are pursuing. So I think for me, as far as ethics, I have my own, which tend to float around one, being honest when I'm using AI and delivering my work, because that is a different kind of co-creation that happens.
mm,
And I don't think you should be kind of just like launching stuff to people and being like, I did this. I like to tell people I did this and I use AI. So I have a co-pilot I'm using. So I do think that that's important. And then I think it's this other part about just being critical around like the outputs of LLMs specifically. So just not taking what you're receiving for face value, but really, really critically engaging with the output before you decide to leverage it in real life or make it applicable.
awesome, good perspective, and I'm glad how you tackled that question because I know that's a tough one for a lot of us,
Yeah.
because this is playing out in real time, and we
Mhm.
won't really have the answers for a while on what
Yeah.
ethics really looks like with AI. Like we're now just having that conversation with social media. Yeah, I hear you on that.
I think it's also one of those things where it's like I like to stay in my lane. Like if you were
Right.
to if you were to ask me around like Travell, what is the ethics or data integrity around using APIs in the world or something, I would have like a dissertation I could probably write you around that. But
For
I
sure.
like to leave that kind of stuff to, especially from a technological perspective. As Travell, like in the world, I have my thoughts, but as a technologist, I tend to trust my colleagues and also dialogue with the people who dig into this.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mm.
So for you, Travell, what bets are you making now that you may not have made before in your life, in your career? What's that looking like for you?
Man, I think the biggest bet I'm making now is making myself the priority.
Wow.
Like, I think a lot of what I've done for upwards of the 34 years of my life has been very self serving, even when it doesn't seem like it's self serving. Like, getting a degree is something that has my name on it, or getting a product manager job or something like that is like intrinsically motivating me. But I also recognize that my degree does serve a kind of value and appearance to my family, the community I'm a part of, the same with my position. But the bet I'm making for myself right now is that I'm being a bit selfish and saying it's all my, like, everything from here on out until I stop deciding, I'm making myself the priority. And that's the things I want to see built in the world, my health, all of these things are yeah, that's the bet I'm making.
I love that. I love that.
Thanks.
I love that. I love
Thanks.
that. Because I think as people of color, we naturally just kind of lean into self-serving.
And I've
I
come to a
agree.
point where like I realize I can't go any further if I continue down, and I call it the path of survivor's guilt. If I continue
That's
to
real.
you know, kind of do this thing where every win I get or every decision I make is apologizing for being the one who made it out or the one who's better off or, all this other stuff, then when does the real victory come? When does the real opportunity for me to put something beautiful out in the world emerge?
Yeah. Because there's people who are doing it, and we
Yes.
have the same right to be able to do it for ourselves.
Absolutely. And that's my problem. I'm like, I need to be out here doing more stuff that Travell wants to do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So this is our final question and answer section.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about just representation in
Oh,
product
yes,
tech and
yes.
product culture. What's it been like for you navigating leadership as product leadership as a Black technologist, someone who's Black in tech?
It's been a profound experience for me. The biggest thing that I have learned is how to be alone. And it's a very difficult kind of, it's not even a skill. You know how they say there's like soft skills, hard skills? I'll say it's more like an epistemology, like a way of being. Like, how do you be the only one in the room? How do you be the only one of your kind, your type? My company right now at HackerRank, I'm the only Black person in product and technology in the entire company. And I'm also one of the only product managers in the United States. So when you look at from a racial perspective, when you look at from a domain expertise perspective, when you look at a business function perspective, the only one. And I'm always alone. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. And I don't find myself needing to champion any aspect of myself beyond kind of just being Travell and being comfortable with that. But what I bring to product leadership is understanding that that's a very unique lens. It's a very specific voice that I'm bringing to the product team and to my product and owning that. Like really standing on that is what it does mean at the end of the day to be comfortable with being alone.
Stand on business.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how I define that's really how I define it at the end of the day. Like I'm not gonna let any of this stuff shake me. I'm not gonna let any of this stuff like be the reason I don't pursue excellence. It should be the number one reason I pursue excellence because there's not no one else or nothing else like me. So that's the number one driver for me right now.
I agree. I agree. And it's important because when we think about technologies being made, perspectives in the room, we need everyone to be represented. And, up and coming product managers, software engineers, when they see you, they see
Hmm.
hope that they could do it too, that they could
Yes.
work at these big companies, that they can be an
Hmm.
engineer and not be afraid of math or coding. So I love that.
Hmm.
Love that. How do you foster inclusion in your product teams, either through, being a voice in the room for inclusion in the product development process, or just like
Hmm.
from a staffing perspective, if you're able to influence that at all?
Yeah, I think from the margins to the center approach to this. So it's all around, for me, product inclusion is always shaped around who's not in the room, who's not using the product that could be getting value from this product. And also, we can invert that and say, some of these decisions we make with our product could have an adverse impact on people who are not in the room or being considered at all. So, from a product inclusion lens, that's how I take it. My work at HackerRank is specifically around enterprise level integrations into applicant tracking systems, human resource information systems. These are tools that are used by recruiters and hiring managers to make decisions on who they bring into their company. So it's very important that when we're sending data from HackerRank into these tools that we are asking these questions. What is the adverse impact of the way that the data is displayed, the way that we are cycling and then submitting the data after an interview? All of these things come to my mind. And that's why I always ask myself, okay, we're building for this specific kind of person, but who else is going to be impacted by this?
Wow, wow, wow. That
Hmm.
is so impactful. And that leads me to my last question to close this out. What advice would you give to an aspiring product manager, product leader from an underrepresented background?
I mean, I give the same advice all the time, so don't judge me. But don't ever let anybody tell you no. Like that's my number one advice that I give across the board. When I wanted to be a product manager and when I was considering the path early in my technical support career, I had set up this meeting with a director of product and they were like I was on this call and I had done the work. I had got my certified Scrum product owner certificate, like credential. I got my certified Scrum master's certificate. I had went through product schools program and I had a couple of wins in the technical support department. So I'm like, yeah, I really could put myself out there. And this director actually I think they were being kind, but they just kind of laughed in my face and was just like, you're not gonna you're not going to be able to transition into product. There's all these people who want what you want. They
Mhm.
have these elite backgrounds. Of course, I went to a public research university and all this other stuff. And I'm glad I didn't take that. It just was like it's not a no. It's just like I know I don't want to work with you or for you. Let me actually get on my path and start going that route. So yeah, never let anybody tell you no.
Yeah, because that hit on so many levels. Because
Hmm.
that happened to me too. You know, people always find something,
They do.
for various reasons,
Yeah.
and you can't let people tell you no, like you said. But you gotta know for you that you are valuable. But also, it's just about finding your people too, because
Hmm.
that manager, director, whoever they were, that wasn't your people. And your
Yeah.
people now are the ones that are valuing your skills, the ones that are promoting you, the ones that are paying you well.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. I mean,
and
but
that's it.
it's also it's a number of things. It's an elitist profession.
Very
Product
elitist.
management is. So I get where the feedback came from, and I don't think that that's why I say I don't think that there was any malice. I think that the person was actually giving me feedback. But if you take the time from me having that conversation and to me actually getting my product role, you're probably looking at my first product role, you're probably looking at a 3 to 4 year time span where I was doing a bunch of other kind of jobs, including being a software engineer. And when I say like I never stop having my eyes on the prize, that's kind of what it has been. Like sometimes you may have to be a bit more flexible, or you may have to make a different kind of decision to hold over until you get what you want. Quick sidebar. Read The Art of War. There's this line in The Art of War. Well, I don't know if you've read The Art of War. It's one of my favorite books. But there's this line where it goes, sometimes you have to crouch to conquer. And that's essentially
Right.
how I kind of navigate things. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
I'll do this little whatever I need to do until I'm able to get my big bite or achieve the outcome that I want.
I love that.
Hmm.
I love that. And continuing to not let people tell you no.
Yeah.
It's you against you. Travell
Exactly.
versus Travell.
All the time. When you said that, I seen like the Kermit the Frog. I don't know if you've seen it, the meme where he has like a hood.
Oh, yeah,
And it's like, that is exactly, yeah, that is the mode I'm in.
for sure. For sure. And you know what? We have to lean into our greatness, because no one's
Mhm.
gonna tell you to do that. You have to lean into it.
Exactly.
So this last segment, we're gonna play a little fun game. Ship it or scrap it.
Okay.
So if you
Mhm.
had so this is the first product, a GPT email rewriter in your tone. So
Ship it.
ship it.
Ship it.
Okay. A calendar-based dating app.
Scrap it.
Yeah,
Grab it.
like people just need to control their life and calendars anyway.
Well, I just
Um,
don't want my time data out there like that. Even now, I've synced multiple calendars and I have this time paranoia. Scrap it. I don't want anything else pulling from my calendar.
I agree. Spotify wrap for API usage.
Is it like a rapper type of situation?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, why
Keep it.
not? Yes, ship that ASAP.
A Slack bot that assigns tasks from Zoom facial expression.
Ship it. Ship it. Just so I could be like, who decided this? Oh, it's when you made that face. I need this. Yes.
Right, right. So to close out, if you
Hmm.
had an unlimited budget, zero corporate red tape, what product would you build?
Man, I'm sorry. I will be with Elon Musk trying to build this city on Mars. Maybe I would build the moon basically. That's what I'll build. I'll let him handle like the Mars city type of situation. And I would want to take on like this kind of airport like base on the moon that will handle kind of launching people all over the universe to make discoveries or to I would turn the moon into kind of a shipping airport kind of, you dig. Maybe one kind of area of the moon because we don't need the whole moon preserved for that. Yeah.
Because we need the moon to actually do its job.
Whatever it, does with gravity and all that, we want that to continue.
Heck, we want to be alive.
Yes, yes, yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Travell, thank you so much for your time today. This
Thank
was a
you.
phenomenal episode, a really great conversation. I got to learn so much from you, got to glean so much from you, and I really hope our listeners too as well, because there was so many takeaways that, man, we could write a book off of this. But
Let me know.
yeah, that's a wrap for the Product Leaders Edge podcast. Again, huge thanks to Travell for taking the time to just share his journey with us, keeping it real and talking about product leadership. If you like this show, please follow, subscribe, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Product Leaders Edge podcast. If this episode gave you a new way to think about product leadership, share it with someone else who's building in the tech space today. You can follow my work on LinkedIn through my weekly series, Tech Tuesdays with KJ, and subscribe to the newsletter on Substack, which is Solostar by KJG.substack.com. And I'll link all of that into the show notes for you all. But let's continue to build at the intersection of product, cloud, and AI. Until next time, keep building.